Hey everybody, it's Gomedex and welcome back to another premiere draft of Phyrexia All Will Be One. This is the flashback draft format for the week. So we're going to be hopping back into this for only one or two more drafts at this point. We've had an incredible time so far, nothing but 7-win runs, which is insane. And we'll see if we can't keep that train rolling as we opened up a mythic rare that's not even from Phyrexia All Will Be One. This had a pretty cute aspect to it where they reprinted all of the mythic rare Praetors, all of the newest versions of each Phyrexian Praetor, into the set. So you could potentially get the Urabrask from Streets of New Capenna in Phyrexia All Will Be One. So we will happily take this card. It is completely absurd. A 5 mana 4/4 haste that draws you an extra card each turn and forces your opponent to play whatever card they draw the turn they play it. Yeah, it's completely busted. An easy pack one, pick one. And I am happy to get into the draft with such a banger start. Pick number 2, Hexgold Slash. Very efficient removal that sticks to our Mythic Rare's color. There is nothing else in this pack that I am all that excited about. Even if this were pack one, pick one, I would be tempted to take Hexgold Slash. The only real competition, maybe Surgical Skullbomb and Predation, other pieces of interaction, but none of these creatures are insanely good. Anointer can be fine if you go deep on oil counters, but you do need a whole lot of permanents with oil counters to use that consistently. I think I'm most happy to just take Hexgold Slash here. Pick number 3. We can try to cut some people off of red with how intensely we want to play that color, having an Urabrask already by taking Furnace Strider. Other reasonable picks would be Lattice Blade Mantis, incredible stat line for the cost, essentially attacking as a 4 mana 5/4 Vigilance, or awkwardly, the next best cards after Strider and Mantis are both 2-color cards that are both off colors. That's very awkward to try to hop onto one of those. So I think it's Strider or Lattice Blade Mantis. And honestly, I like Strider enough at the top end of the curve. I think it's only a little bit worse than Mantis, and it lets us pass as few red cards as possible. So I'm fine with taking Strider here after an Urabrask start. Pick number 4, Resistance Skywarden. The only issue with taking Resistance Skywarden, the part that I don't love here, is that I'm on triple 5-drop. So that is a lot of high mana value stuff. For Phyrexia All Will Be One, this is a super, super fast set. So this is like the last 5 mana play we can really draft. But it's a pretty good one. It's a simple card. I mean, Menace, Reach, but it's evasive and it stops evasive threats from your opponent. It just plays quite well. The biggest competition is likely Bladed Ambassador towards Boros. Just a 2 mana 3/1 gets indestructible sometimes. That'd be pretty reasonable. The biggest reason to hop off color again being I don't really want to start with 3 5-drops, but takes the only good red card out of this pack again. And we're locked in on the color, so I will take the Skywarden here. Pick 5. Okay, white does look like probably the most open off color. I mean, there's still a Lattice Blade Mantis, pick 5. It's one of the better green commons. Green's a very deep color. It's got lots of good commons and uncommons, so maybe not the biggest signal ever. But white has Duelist to Deep Faith and Indoctrination Attendant still here, both very solid white commons. It is close between Lattice Blade Mantis, Attendant, and Duelist, because Lattice Blade Mantis, its stat line by itself, definitely better than the other two. But white definitely has felt more open than green so far. Is it worth the power level cut? I mean, these cards are better in toxic strategies. I guess Indoctrination Attendant is pretty good in Boros because you have 4 Mirror equipment. Probably Mantis or Attendant. I'm just going to go raw power on this one and not take any concessions to power level. Just take the literal strongest card in the pack, and we'll take the Mantis on that. Pick 6 now. Volshock Splitter. This pack's pretty much all filler wherever direction we go. So come on in, Splitter. Rustvine Cultivator, good early ramp. For green-red, there's also an Urabrask in winter. Pick 7. Reasonable sign. Maybe we get the other one. Pick 8. Hazardous Blast is a great finisher. Clears out all of the Might tokens. Clears out 2 mana 3/1s. And shuts off all blocks for the turn. Can often find lethal. We will absolutely play that, whether we're in red-green or red-white. Those are my favorite red decks, so I'd really like to end up in one of those. But red-black I would still go for. Would like to avoid red-blue here, though. Although, I mean, that was our first deck on the return draft, and we did 7-0 with it. Chimney Rabble, pick 9. Ooh, it's good being red. This is one of the best commons in the whole set, regardless of color. Certainly the best red common. Playing the offense and the defense super well off of just one card is just exactly what you need in such an aggressive format. So my current biggest concern is still definitely mana curve issues. The mana curve is very, very important in pretty much any set, but particularly in Phyrexia, all will be 1. And until this pick, we were on only 4 mana and greater creatures. Super, super bad. We definitely want some 1s and 2s. We'll play pick 11. I guess if Boros ends up being super open, the 4 Mirrored Index can have enough equipment synergies to want to play even the pretty filler 3 mana 2/3. Not a fan of the tap lands. I find the set generally to be far too fast for those. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. The green card, absolute poop. The red card's pretty inconsistent. We're on 1 oil counter card for now. 3 if I'm playing green. The Boros card, however, is absurd. 3 mana for a 2/2 double strike. If you play anything that can pick it up and replay it, you get another one. You can just re-equip it later, and it makes all of your other equipment cheaper. We speculate towards Boros for that War Whip that is by far the strongest of these cards. Honestly, in the entire pack, but certainly out of the ones that we might end up playing. Other ones that are reasonable for other decks is like Skull Dwellers, pretty nice for toxic strategies. You get some early poison onto your opponent, and then this is a relevant creature later that can like trade up into your opponent's Mantis that's attacking you. Skull Dwellers like pretty real, but obviously not what our deck is doing. Only 1 card has been taken out of this pack, and there are no white cards left. Somebody took a white common out of here, because this was before the Play Booster era, so they still had 1 card of each color in every pack. So immediately getting cut off of white. The other awkward part, only 1 card's been taken out of the whole pack. And the green is already terrible. And the red's already terrible. So there's really nothing for us to pick except speculate on like a Testament Bearer, I guess. Very bad pack. Pick 3. Still pretty mediocre. Flensing Raptor really only works in the toxic white strategies, which is certainly not Boros. Predation Steward, I guess, for a good filler card for green-red. Oil. Slinger's just went pretty bad filler, but it's at least in our main colors, so there is competition in that sense. I guess Hive Master's fine. 3 mana 3/2 replaces itself with a Phyrexian Might when it dies. Well, Rakdos doesn't care about the toxic counters. Having a creature that replaces itself with some kind of permanent is still reasonable for any of the sacrifice effects. Still think having a Mantis and a Cultivator already, I'd rather just push deeper to green than speculate heavier on black. The white cards, again, quite filler, and definitely more in the toxic direction than the equipment direction. So another spec towards green off Rustvine Cultivator or Oil Gorger Troll. 1, 2, 3. I'm still on 3 oil cards total. Don't think I can take Oil Gorger Troll that highly, especially when I already have 3 other 5 mana creatures. The early ramp certainly seems much more like what this deck is missing. What could really help this deck out with how top heavy the mana curve is. Pick 5. Another Furnace Strider. Get more top heavy because it's the way of life. Or do we take Anoint with Affliction? If you never corrupt your opponent, this is still real nice removal. in this set with how fast it is. I'll take another Furnace Strider. Maybe I can just have like a 4 Cultivator deck to skip my way up the curve. Although all we're seeing is good black. Take the Edifice here. 3 mana, 3/2, clear out a 1/1 at the same time. Very nice in the right position. Man, yeah, I probably should have taken the black removal spell. Obviously, with hindsight, the next pack just immediately had a ton more black, but it's really feeling more black than green. Fuseling's great. Really happy to see that. 1 mana, 1/1 trample, but anytime any of your artifacts or creatures are dying, it's getting bigger. So this 1 drop can end up being a 4/1 or 5/1 trample by the end of the game. Get a huge ball lightning final swing in. Great with Hazardous Blast. It's another oil counter card for the Cackler as well. These are bad cards for every deck. All right, time to toss whatever green filler we get past into the deck and lock in, wrap this thing up. Pretty committed. More than halfway through the second pack now. This is where we gotta be. Awkward Curve Gruul with incredible bomb power is the plan. Magmatic Sprinter's just bad. I constantly recast this is not worth the oil counters, even on the most synergistic card ever. And again, I genuinely find the tap lands to be, in the majority of decks in the set, worse than just running an untapped basic. The downside of having a tap land on curve when you're trying to curve out is not worth the occasional late game upside of cracking one to draw a card, because you very often do not have time to do that. Alright, pack 3, pick 1. The best card in this entire pack is a red card. Makes me feel good. Rebel Salvo. Just efficient removal. Other notable cards: Basilica Shepherd, Rustvine Cultivator. Whisper's okay, and Sizer Glider's okay in the right deck. Not the craziest pack, though. This pack's pretty nutter butters. 1 card's been taken, and the green and the red already suck. We've got some real unlucky opens lately. We could take the Ichor Plate Golem at least. Because again, this is how pack 2 and pack 3 started are just really unlikely. Even if we're surrounded on both sides by a green-red drafter, the odds of like the green and red being this bad. Pick 2 twice in a row are so low after just 1 card being taken. But anyways, like Ichor Plate Golem's still playable for this strategy. Kaya is incredible for the black-white players. Basically, if you can make it to 7, you win. That is genuinely a little bit of a challenge in the set. You do have to work for it more than you would in others. Kaya would be just completely broken, absolutely free wins every time in a set like Ether Drift or something, where it's slow enough you can always make it to 7. Another Cultivator for sure with how awkward the curve is. We just need Ramped Orcs. Volt Charge. We're still pretty low on removal, so that's a nice addition. Alright, I think this deck would have certainly ended up better had we dived more deeply into black early over green. I think maybe the biggest mispick of the draft was right before the Edifice. I think I took a pretty filler green card over the 1 and a black exile removal. That would have been a really good opportunity to commit to the pivot and move towards Rakdos. We obviously saw our Charforger there. We're still seeing cards like Annihilating Glare. I think Rakdos was the spot to be in this draft pod. So certainly not draft perfectly. All Will Be One's a pretty fun build around, but quite an inconsistent one. I'd rather have another Volt Charge. Pick 6. triple cultivator. I'm going to pretend I don't need 2-drops at all and take the way better Lattice Blade Mantis over a super filler 2-drop, even though it's very arguable that the 2-drops are better here because of how few early game plays we have. We're cutting the combat tricky things and the active treason. Active treason first, but if we get more playables, then we'll cut Maze's Mantle. If we get another playable after that, we'll cut Blazing Crescendo. Oh, man. We would have had the Nutso Rakdos build. That's crazy. I'd definitely rather play a Rebuke than a Maze's Mantle. Come on in. Take 8 Canker Bloom, though. We do still get some gas there. Wow. This is maybe our first 17 land. Phyrexia will be 1 draft deck of this return trip. Find another playable. We cut Molten Rebuke now over the 4 more efficient removal spells and the Hazardous Blast stop and blocks. These are not additional playables. I'll hold down that Alt key to see how much I own of everything, and it's full play sets. So we'll just rare draft highest rarity to fill the vault faster and get more wild cards faster. It's probably better to play Shrapnel Slinger as filler as it is than Molten Rebuke here. Just to trade a 2/2 off on blocks early. Alright, reasonable deck here. Despite having an incredible bomb like Urabrask and still pretty great interaction overall, I do think that this is one of the weaker decks that we've drafted because the curve, again, is very important in the set, and we have some filler creatures early on our curve where we would prefer to have better stuff. You know, like Slinger and Predation Steward showing up in here, a Spore Singer. Far from perfect, but still quite powerful. Still could have some absurd, solidly lucky hands, some blowouts with Urabrask. So, a lot of potential to this one. Still excited to see how it does, so we'll throw these last couple picks into the sideboard, and then we will just hop straight into the gameplay with this one. Alright, here we are on the draw for game 1. High mana value spells, no green source for the Ramper. Yeah, this is awkward for multiple ways, especially in this set. I think we gotta take the mulligan here. This is much better on the defensive. Probably ditch the Spore Singer for just being super mid. Playing against black-white, one of the toxic strategies. There's a double striking toxic creature. We'll clear that out immediately. And drop a Canker Bloom. We drew into another removal spell, a second Volt Charge. That looks good here. Just going to pass with all their mana ups. They're probably going to blow up Canker Bloom. Mantis is a great draw, gives us a curve out here. We blow up whatever creature they play, then play a Mantis, then play a Strider. Phyrexian Arena, card draw spell here. They take damage for putting that on board. Okay. Actually, I could have Canker Bloomed that immediately to stop the card draw, but I think this hand can put enough damage on them that I can use the Phyrexian Arena in my favor to win the game more quickly, especially when I can Volt Charge the face. It should be simple enough for us. Unless they play some kind of lifelinker, then we'll have a real bad time. It's not a lifelinker, so I don't really care. Did not hit the mana. I really wanted here to drop Furnace Strider. So go to 10. Predation Steward. We just need to get them to like 5, and then Arena and Volt Charge can finish them off, so we only need to deal 3 or 4 more damage. But we'll see. Not blowing up the Arena could come back to bite us. There were 2 very different ways to play this game. And I'm just going for the try to get them low way. Pick up Phyrexian Arena? That'd be pretty funny. Okay, no, they pick up that thing. Alright, I'm pretty sure they're dead. I don't think there's a 1-mana way to save this Attendant. So they're just at 4. Arena puts them to 3, and then we just Volt Charge them when we untap. Yeah, this is probably awkwardly like maybe the worst set we've ever had for playing Phyrexian Arena in draft. It just ended up so aggressive that life cost is just brutal. Got my second poison counter. Ravenous Necrotitans sacking the Might. They've got a 6/6 blocker up. And they're already dead on board. We attack both. One gets through. They go down to 1 life. So they have to play removal or something here. They do play a Planar Disruption on the Canker Bloom. Sure, they've got a single white mana to counter a Volt Charge or gain life out of nowhere, and I don't believe there's a way to do that. So we'll charge the face, end the game. That is 1-0 heading into game 2. Here we are for game 2. Bit of an awkward opener. If they blow up the Cultivator, we are just dead in the water, but still keeping this both of the colors, and the Cultivator does try its best to start playing some Furnace Striders as quickly as possible. Playing against green, white, and black. 3-color deck over there, all of the toxic colors. Well, technically blue has some as well, but the main toxic colors. Play a Splitter next turn. But then it takes 2 more turns to play the Striders. Barbed Batterfist. Are they just 4-color over there? 4-color Prophetic Prism, the deck. Huh. Well, this will be interesting. I'm going to Proliferate so I know I can activate Cultivator 2 turns in a row and just start jamming Striders against our opponent that is stuck on 2 mana. Yep, they cycle the Skull Bomb away. Like, if they hit lands, like, with a Prism on board and access to 4 colors of spells, like, this could be really threatening, but they miss basically any more land drops. They're going to take way too much damage way too fast to do anything. So, let's just try to do that. As much life total pressure on them as possible. They are down to 14. It is full 5-color. We saw green, white, blue, a black Skull Bomb, a red spell with Batterfist. There's a Canker Bloom for a reasonably sized blocker for just 2 mana. Can cast the Splitter and the Salvo, but only if I cast the Splitter pre-combat. Well, that's fine because we get to haste it too. Does that trade into one of those? Spore Singer trade into 1 and we hit for 4. It's fine by me. They're gonna have the Canker Bloom just chill and take 6. Alright. I don't mind if the Canker Bloom sacks itself to blow up the Splitter, so they can keep that. Now we just salvo something in the end step. Make sure the board is clear enough that one more 4-power haster will get in for the full 8 damage out of everything we have on board. Volt Charge a Spore Singer. They are dead to Rebel Salvo on Cankerbloom. Attack for 8. Alright, I think that's the first time. It's probably not the literal first time. It's the first time I can remember I've seen somebody trying to do full 5-color in this set. And unfortunately, it really did not work out for them. They missed so many land draws. Just a very unlucky opener for them. And some good luck for us. We are 2-0 heading into game number 3. Game 3, monocolored opener. We get to go Slinger into Cackler on curve no matter what. We only need 1 green source to curve out with Mantis on 4 as well. I think I actually keep this. Especially on the draw, that's the maximum time before we need the green source to draw into the green source. Green-red mirror match. There is the green source. Run out the Slinger, offering the trade. Cultivator, a real bad draw for this hand, sadly. Plays off curve. Cankerbloom, sure. Yeah, by the time we actually cast Cultivator, it'll just be completely irrelevant. Take the trades for days. We could have the +2/+2 trick or whatever. In which case we still trade 1 card for 1 card. It's their own Cackler. Ooh, Furnace Strider? Why don't we play Furnace Strider first? And haste out the Sky Warden too. I will take 3. Let's see what kind of removal they got here. Probably Volt Charge the Mantis is most likely. I guess they could have Rebel Salvo where they could kill the Strider instead. It's just straight up take 9. Take 9. Alright. Lattice Blade Mantis of their own. Move over the Batter Fist. So it's big enough to trade into the Strider on blocks too. Sure. Okay. Hasty Sky Warden is incredible here. They'd have to double block and I'd still kill both their creatures. I think I need to remove the counter from Mantis right now. Because it's a 1-for-1 trade with or without the +1/+1. And I don't need to hold up blockers currently. It's going to be go to 2. No, it's going to be chump. Now finally, Rustvine Cultivator has arrived. Alright, Hexgold Slash would have cleared out the Mantis even if I gave it the +1/+1, so same difference there. There's a Fuseling. One last card in their hand is a Cinder Slash Ravager, so they do have the double block for Sky Warden, and they'd only lose 1 creature. Unfortunately for our opponent, I'm about to ruin their day with Adaptive Spore Singer of all cards being insanely clutch here because it forces the double block it forces the double chump and just wins the game. Our opponent does not even accept the double chump. They're like, I don't even want another turn at that point. Absolutely egregious stuff. That is 3-0 now. We have locked in at least a 50-50 record after multiple 7-win runs. Just cannot stop winning, and all will be won. On a red opener here for game number 4, but I don't mind it when we get to play our first Urabrask of the day. Just need to draw 1 land by turn 5. Should be easy enough to do. Playing against blue-black. Blue-black is the Proliferate toxic strategy. Tries to get a couple free points of poison in early. It's little toxic 1 creatures. There's some flying toxic 1 creatures that work pretty well. And then later in the game, it can just proliferate enough times so that you eventually have 10. It's also got some like draw spells and removal spells that have poison attached. Kind of a spell slingy toxic deck. There's like 1 in a blue, draw a card, put a poison on your opponents. 1 in a blue, draw a card and proliferate. All of that kind of stuff. Alright, well, we've drawn 0 lands all game. We have 1 final turn to top deck a land. If we miss 4 land draws in a row, that'll be rough. Especially because we drew another 5-drop. But if we hit this land, I think we're pretty locked in for the win here. Okay, so it shall be. No land draws. 4 draws in a row. Pretty happy with either outcome here. There's a Surgical Skull Bomb alongside the Draw Skull Bomb. Retrofitter's Pity Gnarly turns one of those into a 4/4. Big enough to stop Urabrask from swinging in. If I could draw a single land all game. I guess it being big enough to block Urabrask is irrelevant if we don't draw a land to play Urabrask. Draw 3 and Proliferate, but I've got no poison on me, so the Proliferate doesn't do anything at least. Draw 3 still a huge deal, and they hit a 3rd color off the plains. Alright. If we just like, if we had 5-drop turn 5, the game could genuinely be like over by now. Now, best case scenario, it's going to take forever. Worst case scenario, they play one of the least beatable cards in the whole set. It is a minimum of mill 15. Such is the way of magic. What can you do? Just get jaced out.
I will clear your mind.
Only took like 8 draws. We've hit a land off the top. And they've drawn so many cards, and they're going to draw another off Jace next turn. The odds of them not having a way to blow up Urabrask are near 0. Do I have to just play Skywarden? If stabilized so hard, Skywarden doesn't even get to get in and do anything anyway. Alright, I mean, I'm just gonna scoop if Urabrask dies here. I am not feeling like playing another 3 turns until Jace mills the last 18. I think after, like, I don't know, maybe after like the 3rd turn in a row of like 4 lands out, no 5th land drawn, that was when the game was just completely sealed. But the odds of just not having the land by turn 5 in the first place were already so low when we started with a 4-lander. Alright, I'm gonna stop complaining. It is what it is. That's just a part of Magic. We've had some pretty unlucky opponents in some earlier games, like that 5-color player.
Organic minds are easily quelled.
Well, they are 25 cards deep and they've hit 0 removal. I really needed a 6th land so that I could double charge Jace here. Guess we gotta just play Skywarden and pass at this rate. And now I'm just getting beat down by a Skull Bomb faster than I'm getting milled out. Jace can mill 15. Still 5 turns. I guess with Urabrask on board. But the goal was like get Urabrask on board and Volt charge the Jace, but doesn't happen without mana.
Heal.
Proliferate makes it so I can't kill Jace with double Volt charge even if I do draw a 2nd land. 6th land total, but 2nd land draw of the game. It's wild. We still don't hit a land there. And then Hazard's Blast still would have gotten so close. 8 damage, but I just die on the crackback if I do it. I send in. Jace can currently mill me out entirely, so I'd have to hit Jace at least a little bit. I'm good here. Arena just clearly does not want me winning that game. The lands are the issue, just a part of Magic. Finally, some comeuppance for how lucky we've been getting with some unlucky opponents earlier. That was brutal. The little smiley faces did not come up, but I definitely would have clicked frown with just the land draws that game. All right, here we are for game number 5. This is a risky keep. I do need to hit a mountain. If I do, I get to start the curve out on 2 if I draw it immediately. I'm not gonna lie, I went monkey brain on it, and I thought that there was a red source in this hand, which, of course, there is not. So, this is gonna be a very, very bad time if we don't find a mountain within a turn or two here. This is like a really aggressive set. Like, I would be fine if we just get outraced here or there, because it really happens. But it would be super frustrating to end the 7-win streaks to just mana issues, like our first loss. This one would be partially self-imposed, but last game, that was like a slam dunk auto keep. I don't think you could ever justify mulliganing last game. Sometimes you just take 8 turns to draw 1 land, and that's going to be game. Could play Splitter right now. I think I would rather just get Cackler down. Have the Cultivators ready. Drop it Strider, and then hasting out the Splitter on a future turn. The Cackler attacks for a bajillion damage with 3 different oiled up creatures. Removal spell on Cackler here. They were looking at it. Yep, Drone and Iker. Okay, the second Cultivator really doesn't matter now, so I'll take the trade if they send Doom Mover in. They do not send Doom Mover in. Lattice Blade Mantis is the draw. I would rather lead with my Haster, for sure. Almost used both the oil on itself. Our opponent is on black-white here, which is like the lowest curve toxic deck. There's a lot of good 1 and 2 mana toxic creatures in the color pair. And they're trying to get corrupted. Makes the signpost and commons better. The black, white, and 3/4/4 vigilance that our opponent played last game. That was literally just a 4/4 vigilance with no abilities. The idea is you get 3 poison counters on your opponent, and then that is a removal spell on a stick, which is pretty good. Complete Devotion, great combat trick for the toxic strategy since it draws them a card, but that does still cost them some tempo here. Spending 2 of their mana on a combat trick keeps them off of like playing 4 mana worth of creatures. They just play a single 1/3 instead. Cool. We will haste out the Mantis. Actually, that's low enough power. I could haste out the Splitter. But I think we just play the beefier, scarier creature anyway. I will untap it, keep Dune Mover off of us without another trick from them. Chump block it is. Goodbye, Incisor Glider. Let's go all in here. There are very few board wipes in this set. The one I can think of for black-white is double white and 5. So they need 7 mana total. But then they get 5 1/1 mites, they gain 5, and they blow up all other creatures. So it's pretty unbeatable if they make it to 7. So they have that, they have that. I'm not really playing around board wipes in this set. Especially considering in their color pair, they could also have like the Kaya, the 7 mana Kaya, where it's a lot better to pressure your opponent, get as much damage as you can as early as possible. If you're playing around a board wipe and leaving more threats in your hand, and then they play a Kaya, like, you're in so much trouble. Sheldon's Edict. Well, bye to a Cultivator. I should have done the tapped one. They both did not have a counter left. And that was definitely a punt. Does not matter though, they don't have attacks regardless. They're not really going to have an attacker left for me to need to block with this Mantis, so I will not untap it this turn. They're down to 7. Here's the splitter. Does this deck have an Axiom Engraver? We actually didn't get an Axiom Engraver. We don't have any discard a card draw, so I'll play land for turn. 6 mana. 6 out of 7 for the Mega Bombs in black-white. We have very lethal on the board. We'll see what they have. Evangelist, but we haven't allowed them to get any poison onto us, because we knew what the black-white color pair is trying to do. They're down to 3. No creatures left. Let's see. Oh god, please not White Sun's Twilight. Okay. Annihilating Glare. I was worried. They had one last card in hand. They were thinking on it for a long time. I was like, oh dear. Oh, I would have been fine. I mean, they would have, you know, been at like 8 life. We'd have no creatures left. But I could have blown up all of the might tokens before they get to attack with them and poison me at all. Because I top decked the Hazardous Blast to clear. So even against White Sun's Twilight, we would have turned the game into a top deck war. That's wild. Alright. Great luck on that game. If I did not draw that mountain, we were dead meat. So, luckily we did hit the red source, and we are back to another positive win rate run. Game number 6. Great opening hand. Cankerbloom into Ichorplate Golem. After that, if we hit lands, we start playing 5-drops. If we don't, they're probably castable spells. We'll see. We have both our colors. Our opponent starts with double mulligan, which is rough. Alright, here we go. Get our first land draw immediately, so we're at least 4 mana. Playing against green-blue, there's the Branch Light Stalker. Yeah, I'd rather spend removal on that than trade into it. Just push some damage here. Keep all my creatures around. The Toxic 2 is pretty threatening. They are Sultai Poison. Alright, we can drop an Ichor Plate Golem and still have the Cankerbloom ability for one. Tainted Observer, a flying toxic creature, 2/3 body. Fortunately, we missed land 5 on turn 5. We offer the trade into the Observer, though. No trade is accepted. We'll play the Cultivator. And a Slinger to go wide. So if they poison us here, then we crack back for a bunch, and they're already down to 11. They are going to poison us. Well, nope, change their mind. Hold up the blocker. They want to poison us so they can start proliferating and all that, but this could be huge. As much as I'd love to just haste in damage here, I think I should probably play the Sky Warden as fodder for removal. That's still a very relevant threat if they don't have removal. Go down to 8. Here is the Sky Warden. Sky Warden soaks up a counter spell. Saves Urabrask from the same fate. Prosthetic Injector. They can make that Toxic 2. And increase its toughness, so it could block Cankerbloom without dying. Just eat the Cankerbloom. They've got one final card in their hand. This is just going to be Caster or Brask Attack All, lethal on board. And find out if that last card in their hand is a counterspell or removal. If it is neither, they are dead. GG from opponent. That is game. That's 5-1 now. Guaranteed in the money out of this draft. It's funny because Urabrask could have just been like the 5-mana 4/5 haster and the game plays the same there. I don't know if we've actually gotten any value off Urabrask today. Because the only time that it stuck around and actually did its thing was the game we already just lost miles ago. The Jace. Yeah, I don't think we've actually like fully Urabrask at any point. Here we are on the play with a turn 1 Rustvine Cultivator. That's always going to be a good time. Black deck from our opponent. I'm just going to tap this right now for auto pass value. Don't have to keep clicking. Green, black, toxic. It is. Scheming Aspirant is the play. Every time they proliferate, they drain us from life. By Ichor Plate Golem now. Can Furnace Strider next turn. Otherwise it's Chimney Rabble into Ichor Plate these next 2 turns. I think I want to lead. Furnace Strider here. I still get 2 damage in instead of 3. Let's miss out a single point of rabble damage. And the Furnace Strider also sends in for 5 with the Golem buff. Contagious Vorak. 3/3, pick up a land from the top 4. If they don't, they proliferate, which isn't going to put any counters on the board, but will still drain us for 2. So, the Aspirant combo coming in hot there, they did not have a land to pick up. 4 power, yeah, Furnace Strider's coming in hot. They're down to 15. Take any non-toxic damage all day long. And there's the toxic threat, the Plague Nurse. They got some sturdy cards here. It's definitely making it harder for our small creatures to get through, but we got a great top deck hitting a second Furnace Strider, because these are free attackers here. Oof, go to 5 life is the play. Love to see that. There may be some board wipe I'm forgetting about in this set, but save that. I'm not sure how they turn this one around currently. Glissa would be pretty bad. If they go like Glissa plus a second blocker, it'd be really hard to attack through that. That's the First Strike Death Touch 3/3. So it just eats anything in combat at all times. Stop the poison here. Make sure if they have anything with Corrupted that cares about that, it's not going to happen. And we have no poison counters on us for them to proliferate while they do other stuff. That's solid for our opponent. Save the Plague Nurse. They still only kill one of these two. So the same thing happens if I double block with the Slinger and the 2/3. They have to block, they have to chump both the Furnace Striders, so we're just all in full damage here. They go block Furnace Strider, block Furnace Strider. Oh, it's take 5. Jesus. But I didn't even gather that was lethal too. Good lord, I thought that was going to be 4 damage. Kind of funny, it's only lethal because I could give the Goblin haste. Is there a 1 green mana instant speed removal spell? No. Alright, that is 6 and 1. We have had 1, Devastating loss today. Just missing lands for an eternity. But outside of that one game, this deck has just hard carried us towards another final battle, potentially another 7-win run. We've got 2 shots to get there, so let's just see where the cards fall as we head into that final boss. Well, I accidentally kept a hand that looked like this before and it played out fine. We top decked the mountain quickly. I don't think I'm going to take that risk again, though. 3 red spells, a single green one. Again. This looks great. Cultivate an Ichor Plate Golem into a Mantis. Our opponent starts off with a Terramorphic Expanse that finds a mountain of their own. Ooh. Second Cultivator's pretty legit here. Allowing me to hold up the slash and off of any top decked land. Definitely play Mantis, and Cultivators are even reasonable bodies with an Ichor Plate Golem on the board. Barbed Batterfist, I think I'd slash that and just play a Golem and beat down. Oh my god, that was about to be really bad. Blue-red doesn't have a ton of stuff I think the slash can kill, because they're not going to have any toxic creatures, so we definitely can't kill like a... Can't kill anything with more than 2 toughness in this matchup. Second Batterfist, sure. Land for turn, another Terramorphic. They on 3 color with multiple Terramorphics? Nope, still just blue-red. Okay. Kind of forgot we had a Hazardous Blast in here. If I know I was going to top deck a Hazardous Blast, I would have waited on Slash, because Hazardous Blast to kill multiple Batterfists would be gnarly. I'll happily take 3. Oh, blow up the Ichor Plate Golem is rude. It also loses their only 1 toughness creature. Yeah, I don't even think they get to realize exactly how good that was for them, not having the 1-drop for the blast anymore. Oh no. Drawing 0 lands is gonna be super bad. I mean, it's already quite bad. Because the Cultivators only give me mana once every other turn, so I'm on 3 mana next turn with only 4 mana and greater cards in hand. We've drawn 2 5-drops and a 4-drop this game. Well, we might have had Furnace Strider in the opener. I don't remember exactly. I think it was land, Cultivator, slash, Golem. Yeah, I think we had Furnace in the opener. Oh my god. All right. Rebel's our best bet to try to be stable here. Theoretically blocks both the cards. But they have all gas, so we cannot. And they top deck Unctus. Oh. Which gets the Slinger out of the way of the 1/1 trading into it. Gives them full attacks for free. Alright, well. That's 2 for 2 on just really bad land draws for the 2 losses. Fair enough. Yeah. Alright. My options are... My only option is double trump. I'm good there. 6 and 2 it is. We are gonna need that extra life to get into the final battle. Alright, here we are for our final game of Magic. No matter what happens here, this is the last game of the draft. And the only way we have lost is with mana issues that this hand is completely immune to. It has both colors, everything in the hand is castable. And if Cultivator doesn't die, it has 4 out of 5 mana. Okay, I guess I could top deck all my 5 drops. And no lands. There could be that. But if that doesn't happen, this should be a solid game for us. Either we win again, because we haven't lost any games where we didn't have severe mana issues, or we lose in a cooler way than just no lands. Uh-oh. I should have specified there's one other way we could lose that is mana related, and that's all lands. If I draw 0 spells, that would be a way we haven't lost yet. We've only lost to not hitting the lands, but it would be basically the same thing. Oh, sweet Jesus. We might get Urabrask's Forged out. Card is incredible, so it deals 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. It stacks up really quickly, really terrifyingly. I can hit for 2 extra damage right now with the +2/+2 ability, or 1 extra damage right now with Proliferate. I'd rather Proliferate. It's 1 more damage this turn, and then if Fuseling gets more attacks on future turns, then it's even more damage in the long run. Even if Fuseling only attacks 1 more time, then it's the equivalent of having done +2/+2. And if it manages to do even more than that, then obviously it's even more than that. It's more damage than that. Alright. They're down to 10. But we are out of spells in hand. We've got all the mana for any spell in the deck. We find a Predation Steward. Not terrible. Jam in with the squad and drop a Predation Steward, I suppose. It's probably trade in a Fuseling, take 5. Unless they've got like a Hexgold Slash, then take 3, kill a 2/2. Take 5 it is. They're down to 5. Got real solid stat lines on the board. Oh wow, that was a very diligent use of Rebel Salvo. Aww. Masticore. It's a problem. Skywarden kills them in 1 swing. If they don't top deck a creature and this costs less than 5, then they can't blow up Skywarden and they just die to it hitting them. So that's the game plan here. One-shot them with Skywarden. Oh, they can Skull Bomb the Skywarden. Oh my god, I think we're dead. To Forge Masticore then. Played 1 Volt Charge. I've got 1 more Volt Charge in the deck. like a Chimney Rabble. I have some lethal top decks if I send the squad in to put them to 2. I think I put them to 2 then. Say goodbye to Spore Singer to put them that low. Leaving them dead to Chimney Rabble, Hazardous Blast, Furnace Strider, Urabrask, Volt Charge. At least 6 outs. I guess Hazardous Blast is 1 damage off, but anything else should be... Well, no, yeah, they killed enough creatures there that the non-burn will be 1 damage off. No, another threat too. Oh. Now I've got a ton of hasters in this deck. That could have been a punt from opponent here. Oh. I mean, I guess they don't know how many hasters are in this deck, but we have like 5 or 6 hasters in here. They were dead to exactly 1 card in my entire deck if they just held a single creature back, and this way they're dead to tons, but we just didn't hit one of them. Ah, annoying. Alright. We got double rared, and we did not draw the punishment for the very bold final attack. If they hit a land off the top, we do have 1 more turn to punish them. Because I get to slash the Trampler is what I'm doing by just passing here. Otherwise I'm dead if I play Skywarden. Because Skywarden just has to block the Trampler, and then I don't have that to crack back with. So I get 1 more opportunity to punish them for that. Oh, it wasn't the punishment for the aggressive attack, because that would have killed them no matter what. But I'll take it. Wow. I mean, I literally said the game was over. I was like, alright, we got double rared, we didn't draw the punishment, that'll do it. Nope. Volt Charge. Absolute MVP. Finds the last 2 points of damage. No matter how we play that one out. I mean, well, if I played... Yeah, no, if I played Skywarden, it would have worked as well. But obviously, yeah, Skywarden literally would have just traded into the Forge creature. The same thing that my Hexfold Slash did. It would have been chump there, trade there, stop that damage, go to 2. Wow. I'm unbeatable! I'm unbeatable in Phyrexia All Will Be One. Our 2 losses... We did not draw lands. I thought we were going to get just like an average normal loss that game. Of like they played some great rares. And it was a close game. We get them down to 2 but can't quite get there. The Masticore and the Forge outrace us. But no. No, we top decked that Volt Charge. And literally the only losses of the day were the landless games. Alright. Sick stuff. Biggest underperformer is Urabrask. What is he doing here? Why is he here in Phyrexia All Will Be One? I don't know, but he wasn't doing a lot in our deck, that's for sure. The one game that we really had him doing his ability multiple times was the game that we just got domed by a Jace anyway, because he got stuck in our hand until like turn 9 or 10 or something. Because we had that was when we had the 4 land opener and then just didn't draw land forever to cast him. So every time we cast him, he was literally just a Furnace Strider. Just a Furnace Strider with 1 less toughness that can't give other creatures haste. So Urabrask is the biggest underperformer. I don't think that means that Urabrask is bad or anything. We just kind of drew him at slightly awkward times. Didn't really get to do the whole thing with him. Biggest overperformer for the deck. Did anything work a lot better than I thought it was going to? Maybe the double Furnace Strider. I was very concerned by the high mana curve in this deck, and it did, in fact, come back to hinder us in both of our losses. So it was an accurate concern. You know, getting stuck on 2 lands, we just super died. And then even the game where we got stuck on 4 lands, like we had a bunch of 5s in hand, and that was awkward. So I think I had accurate qualms about the number of 5 drops we were taking early in the draft. But still, Furnace Strider was like frequently my most requested top deck out of like anything in the deck. I was like, ooh, if I hit a Furnace Strider here, it's gonna be so good. This card was just consistently great, just a beefy amount of haste damage in the late game. Would have been a lethal top deck in that last game, just like Volt Charge was. Yeah, Furnace Strider was some great stuff in here, so that's probably the biggest overperformer. Everything else was stuff I already knew was going to be great here. The Triple Cultivator super necessary with how high the mana value goes. There was some filler in here like Cackler and Spore Singer and Steward and stuff, Slinger. But enough powerful stuff to still get there for yet another 7-win trophy run in Phyrexia. All will be one. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm, send some more on recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.